Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brandon Shank, and welcome to the Brandon Shank Podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Brandon Shank Podcast. Beautiful day here in beautiful VA Beach. Excited about today's show. Excited about these couple of topics I want to share with you. Pumped up, whether you're listening to us at work or unfortunately in the shower, where I find that most of our listeners are listening these days. It's great to be with you.
Oh, yeah.
And excited about all that's going on. How you feeling, Corey?
I'm feeling good. Feeling great. Weather is amazing, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, man. I asked Corey, I was like, man, for those of you watching this video, I was like, bro, you got this this window shade up a little high today. So if I start dripping sweat, it's because it's about 175 degrees on my back.
It's got to look good. We got to see Town Center, man. Come on now.
It's all about the photography. It's all about the shot.
I get it. Image.
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I really do. And I understand that. Man, I love this time of year. It's October is such a great month because you got football season, so college is ramping up. You kind of see what teams are good, and you see what teams are kind of making a run. And some of the teams that were in the top 25 are falling out. Some of the teams that weren't in the top 25 are moving up to the top 10 or in the top 15. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's been pretty nice around Virginia Beach. And then, pumpkin spice everything. I'm not a big pumpkin spice fan of everything, but I do like pumpkin spice coffee. Now, I don't like flavored coffees, but I like lattes and stuff. Actually, I don't drink a lot of lattes. They make me tired.
There's where you get me, though. I'm sign me up for pumpkin pies all day.
I like pumpkin pie, but that's not pumpkin spice.
I know it's different. I know, but I can't do pumpkin spice coffee. I just can't.
I don't like flavored coffees. It kind of makes me like that feeling in your mouth of like,
what are you? So what is? Yeah,
where you're like, what is that? It's like, what did they put in this coffee to make me You know. So I don't like flavor. I like creamer, but I like straight. Like I don't like just a ton of flavor in my coffee.
Okay.
The actual coffee.
So what is your go-to creamer?
Sweet cream.
Just okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Just straight sweet cream. It goes any season.
What about like Italian sweet cream?
That's actually my second.
That's a good
Those
one.
are top two, actually. There's not a first or second there.
Yeah.
They're equivalent. It's like my kids. I like them the same.
That's my favorite.
That's what I feel like. But I will tell you this. I'm not a big fan of a lot of creamers. I mean, they're okay, but I just don't do lattes. I don't really do cappuccinos because I get tired. I think it's because I'm 110 normally. So when I drink something that's 110, it drops me to like 40.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's some weird reverse math going on.
I can't do it, man. Now, you give me a regular cup of coffee, your boy's good. But you start throwing in some lattes, cappuccinos, they start stirring it with like their elbows and touching it twice with their finger to give you that special remedy. I'm not in. Not my thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Not
I'm
good
tracking.
For me. Yeah. How about you? You don't strike me as a cappuccino guy.
No.
You strike me as like straight coffee beans.
Me and my wife make iced coffee every morning. And if I got Italian sweet cream, it's iced coffee with Italian sweet cream.
Do you make the coffee in the morning or do you make it the night before?
We make it, so we have a big pitcher and we'll make it like the night before, stick it in there. It usually lasts about 2 days and then we got to make more.
So all you listeners out there, I want to know what you drink. Hit me up. Instagram us, thread me, whatever. Let me know. Flavor. I want to know how you like your coffee. Yeah. Some people are extravagant.
They are.
I mean, it's impressive. I'm not mad about it. I'm just really impressed.
There's long orders at Starbucks.
I've had two different people give me stuff to make pour overs.
Okay, yeah.
I've still never made one.
It's so slow.
And it's not that I don't want to. I just have. It's usually finding time to where I get more than finding time to take a slow shower and shave and pick out my outfit
and listen to a podcast.
It's like 12 minutes. Yeah. I don't have time to I don't have time to put on my robe and to go into my kitchen and to listen to Frank Sinatra and to do a pour over. Now I will, because one of the kids I coached last year, his dad is the head brewer. He's one of the head brewers at New Rome Brewing Company.
Yeah. And
so he's like an expert in brewing. The beer and all this stuff they do. And so he was like, bro, I kind of got obsessed with coffee. And he told me about how he did it. And I was like, bro, that sounds amazing. Because this, he's talking, I'm listening to the scientific data and the way he's talking. I'm like, this guy's a genius when it comes to making out of a bean or a hop the perfect whatever, fill in the blank. So he got me a pour over. And the reason I haven't done it yet is because I want it to be right. The moment's got to be right. The day's got to be right. I want the atmosphere to be right because he told me how to do it. Yeah. And I think that he might make the best cup of coffee in history.
It'll ruin it for you.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing. I have had it. It is better. I will say that. It's better.
When I was in Greece, we did nothing but it was the place you're at was all inclusive.
Yeah.
And it was French press all day long as much as
French
you want.
press is very good too.
And it's like drinking a froth.
I feel like it's pour over, French press,
Ooh.
and then all of us commoners.
Wow. Pour over in front of a French press.
It's scientifically it's supposed to be better
But
because of how slow the process is.
What does your tongue tell you?
I mean, pour over is really good.
Okay.
Now
I've never had it. So I'm going to do it, but I got to get my robe and my Frank Sinatra on, and it's got to be a Saturday morning where the kids are going.
You got to slow down. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your boy's I need to get a monogrammed robe first.
Yes, absolutely.
Extra fluffy. But no, for real, man, I'm down. I can't wait to do it. Maybe the next year I'll be able to share on the podcast. Maybe we'll be able to make one right here.
I feel like it's got to be your homework before next week.
Dog.
I know it's tough. I get it. We're
trying to move.
Hey, that's
trying to move, man. I don't even know if the pour over is in the box, dog. It's been in a box for about 3 weeks. So if those of you don't know, we've had our house on market for 3 months. We're on our 3rd contract, and the house is the house is phenomenal. It's just through the workings of Satan and God teaching me patience.
They're working together.
They're working together. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's team up, bro.
Yeah. Let's get this cat. So this weekend, we're supposed to move Friday, Saturday, or Monday, or Tuesday.
Yeah.
We have no moving date, and we're supposed to move all of our home in the next 7 days at some point.
I think it sounds like a perfect time for a pour over.
I don't know what pour over is. It's in a box, bro. Whenever we move to the new house, how about this?
Yeah.
All right. How about this?
There we go.
How about we record a podcast?
Okay.
From the new crib.
Yeah.
And you and I do a pour over.
That sounds amazing.
When I say you and I mean you.
You're going to have me
I'll have the stuff. You do the pour over. You said you've done it before.
I've done it personally like maybe once in my life.
Okay. I've never done it.
My brother's really good at it. So he's made it before.
You do the research. And we'll shoot it at my house, and we'll do a pour over for all of our beautiful listeners here.
We'll figure it out.
And we'll taste it, and we'll see what we think.
There's all sorts of factors to this, like your fresh beans, freshly roasted beans that you're supposed to then grind.
Well, we do grind our own beans in my house.
Well, that's good.
So
I don't do that.
Yeah. So I broke the coffee pot a couple weeks ago. So
okay.
I'd filled it with water. I was pouring it into the coffee pot, and for whatever reason, I wasn't holding the handle. I was holding the bottom of the pot, and I was getting ready to grab the handle, and the whole pot slipped out of my hands. And I don't know if anybody's ever had experience with this, but coffee pots are not made to fall. It thing shattered, and I'm finding glass 2 weeks later. It shattered into a 100,000 tiny pieces.
I'm sure
of glass.
it's intense. Yeah,
it was pretty intense, and it sounded like an explosion in my kitchen. The way this thing blew up. But I am getting a new coffee pot when we get to the new crib. We are going to make a pour over here. Now I know a lot of y'all don't watch; you just listen. That's fine.
Hey.
We can share this experience.
I'll
with you.
ASMR it.
Okay, there you go. Oh, no mouth noises, man. But I also love this season of year. Amazing. I'm a big candle fan. I don't burn them. Like I don't have a place I burn candles. But my wife, we'll go to Bath and Body Works. Or no, that's not the right place. What is the name?
Didn't
of
that place go out of business, or did it?
No, they're still in. No, Bath and Body Works. I think it's it.
Or yeah, Bed Bath and Beyond is
that's
the
what
one
I meant.
place.
That's what I meant.
You
Wait,
meant
which
there?
one's in the mall?
Bath and Body Works is the candle place.
That's it.
Shows how much we know.
Yeah, but dude, their candles.
Here's the thing. I walk into stores like that though, and I'm just overwhelmed.
Me too.
My nose is. It's like I've had enough.
You got to find the spot.
It's one thing for like one candle scent.
No, you got to go towards fall. See, I just walk towards the season, fall, and in my spruce. In Christmas time, like that kind of smell, it smells like the Grinch stole Christmas. It smells like holiday cookies. It smells like Santa Claus, Christmas trees.
You just want it to smell like the forest.
Jesus, all in one. But
wintry woods.
Oh, that's it. And then they have a fall candle that we got. It smells like a sweater, leaves, college football, cumin, nutmeg.
Wait a second.
And a pumpkin pie all in one.
College football.
Yeah, it's
I think that's a candle I don't think I want.
I think the most powerful scent.
Oh, absolutely.
Or most powerful sensory.
I think it is.
So when I'm telling you, when I smell that, it takes me back to
when connected to memories. I think it holds a lot of power.
So when I tell you what it smells like, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to share my heart here.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm trying to be open with these people.
But I think college football itself smells very different.
I don't know, maybe. Hey, but what funny you say something about college football. So we've on this podcast talked many times about what they call the NIL, which is a way that they have tried to ruin college sports, and basically they're allowing players to be played. I do agree that players made all this money. If you watch the Johnny Manziel documentary, he made all this money for Texas A&M and all the boosters, and they made all this stuff, and he didn't get anything, and that's why he was making money on the side. Like I get the tension, But this weekend, Georgia beat the brakes off of Kentucky, and the Kentucky's head coach, Mark Stoops, recently on a radio show had commented, but he said, we got beat, but they bought every one of their players. Now, to Kirby Smart's credit at Georgia, he's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
This is what college football has built. The NCAA, as much as they protect the game, has built this disaster, this dumpster fire that's the NIL. You've got players. How do you compete with a team like Georgia if you're Kentucky and Georgia's boosters and they're national champions and you're paying these kids $1 million or a couple $100,000 to come to their school, and Kentucky's like, well, we'll give you, all you can eat and a $50 gift card.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got everybody on their rosters getting money. But Georgia is just playing. They're not doing anything wrong. But all college football is turned into is the NFL. It's just a smaller scale.
Yeah.
You have guys who are getting paid $1 million and never played a game.
Jeez.
So college sports is officially being destroyed, and the NCAA is responsible because you can't make a thing like the NIL. You automatically tip the scales, and those big schools that have the big boosters, they've always had an advantage because they can afford nicer facilities and they can. But there was a leveling in that players weren't getting paid, and they were under the table. I mean, we all know the Reggie Bush thing. We all know people have done things and gotten in trouble. It's kind of like weed, right? People are in jail for doing illegal marijuana before it was legalized in some states.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it was illegal then. Like, we get all of it. But shouldn't there be a pardon for people who did something illegal then, but it's legal now, that it's really, people realize wasn't as bad?
That is tough. Yeah.
Or even with college football. So you have guys who were pushed out of the game. I mean, even like Pete Rose betted on his own games, right? MLB has not been able to let that go. But now all the sports betting is legal and all these other things. And you tell me the only athletes that are doing are the ones getting caught.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying you can't create this much of a gray area and expect things to get better.
Yeah.
NCAA has ruined college football and ruining sports. The NIL is ruining college sports because the best quarterbacks and right now, Oregon, Bo Nix, their quarterback, he was a SEC quarterback and he left to go to Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude was a freak before he got there. Like, every time I'm watching these teams that are ranked, I'm like, oh man, they came out of nowhere. No, their quarterback, Notre Dame, their quarterback. Like, all of these quarterbacks have come from big schools, and they're either like, when you're a fifth year, you're playing your fifth year, and you're doing your master's program. You're allowed to transfer after your senior year. That's okay. But these guys are just leaving. So what you're getting is all these big time quarterbacks. They're just rotating around to find the right school. So signing day, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Why do we even do a signing day on ESPN? What's the point? Because those players aren't staying there. If they don't like what you do, coaches have no authority. You have players making more than coaches on the staff. I mean, it is turning into an absolute dumpster fire. I love college football, but honestly, when you watch it, there's no pride anymore. There's no pride in this team that this guy's played for. He's, when you see Sunday Night Football and all the pro players, like, they say their name and what college they went to, Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech. You're like, yeah. Now when they say their college, like, well, which one are they going to say this week? Because, I mean, all these guys kept moving around. So, I don't know. It's
tough.
Yeah, man. I hate what it's become because college football used to be innocent and pure. And I know that's what we perceived it as, but behind the scenes, the boosters were slipping money. But they weren't.
Yeah.
It's not like it is now.
Yeah.
And and I get there's so much money. How do the players get that back? Well, maybe every player gets a specific amount that goes Division I and not tip the scale to this player is, Caleb Williams, USC's quarterback, a Heisman winner trying to get it 2 years in a row. Dude, that guy's on commercials all over the place. He don't need the NFL right now. He's making big money.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You feel like there's got to be something. If you just think about it long, there's got to be
it's
some different
explode.
model that stop some of that stuff from happening. I don't know. Again, I'm not the expert here.
I mean, it's common sense. It's going to explode.
Yeah.
On the bright side, baseball playoffs, man. How about those Atlanta Braves? Let's go, everybody. Let me hear a little hand clap. Here we go. I did text Matt this morning. Matt, those who don't, Matt and I, we both have season tickets to the Commanders together, seats side by side. He also has Orioles tickets, and he had tickets to the ALCS and the World Series. if they made it.
Yeah, if.
And they lost last night to the Rangers
they did. Yeah.
in 3 games. I mean, what a tough run.
It was
the
tough.
Braves, dude, we were about to go down 0-2. Then the bottom of the 8th, Austin Riley hits a 2-run homer to go up by 1.
That play was crazy.
And then the bottom of the 9th, or the top of the 9th, Michael Harris makes that catch against the wall, throws the ball in. Austin Riley cuts it, throws the first for a double play. I mean, that was just the best 45 minutes a baseball player could possibly play, I think, with Austin Riley.
It was intense.
And I mean, Harris' catch was amazing too, but that's a double play that's changing the world, man. You see it all over the place. It was beautiful. Yeah. It was great.
They played
our house was going nuts. I told my wife, stop yelling. The kids are in bed. Casey cannot control herself when she watches sports. And when the Braves are on, I went through a season where I almost hated them because there's no way to get my wife's attention, or there is. But when they're doing well, like she is, my wife, I don't know how to translate this for the ladies out there who are listening that you don't really care about sports, or fellas. I don't know how to translate this into something that would get you this excited. Because I don't know what people get excited about that don't watch sports that would cheer. So if you don't watch sports, what do you cheer for? A concert, maybe?
The problem is I'm not really any of those things personally.
So you don't ever cheer when a sports game's on? If your team's playing, they do something
No,
good?
So define cheer. I can get mildly upset or mildly into the game.
It's the end of the game and the Orioles are down in the bottom of the 9th. 7-6, and they got a guy on first, and then they're down. Oh, this is like the World Series Game 7, and then Santander hits a 2-run shot. How would you cheer for that? Would it be like get on your feet and be like, let's go, we just won the pennant?
I mean,
you'd be high-fiving and like cheering, like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, this is crazy, let's go.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
Probably as I get old, that becomes me as I've gotten older. Okay. A little bit more, yeah.
So you're becoming more of a sports fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't digest it like a lot of people do though.
Yeah, so I used to wake up, and if Washington lost, I would wake up and feel like heavy.
Yeah, see, that doesn't happen to me.
Not anymore. I've been 23 years. We're losers for 23 years. I'm used to it. So they win or lose, they don't bother me at all. Yeah. Truthfully. Actually, I think after I became a season ticket holder, I cared less.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I think it's because I haven't been to a game yet, and we're still we look good, but we don't look great. And so, here we go. It's another year.
Yeah.
We lost to the Bears on Thursday. I have nothing to say about us. I'm angry. So that's probably the best way. Maybe I'm just numb. Maybe I'm just mentally unhealthy when it comes to the Commanders. That's probably where I'm at. Anyway, we're flat. We don't have any excitement. We need some excitement. We need a coach to bring us some excitement. We need fire on the sidelines. We don't have that. We need a fiery sideline. The Washington Commanders do not have it. We need a coach with a fire that's lighting up our sideline, that's getting in players' faces, that's celebrating. We need that. We just don't have that. And we need players to do that. If they're, we just need a fiery sideline. But yeah, so Casey, when the Braves are on, it's next level. It's next level. And a lot of people, another thing, well, here's a fun fact for you. So Drake's new album, the first track, have you heard about this?
I haven't.
Off of Drake's new album.
Oh, yeah,
titled Virginia Beach.
Yeah. There was some weird thing, though. My wife was researching it, and she wasn't sure if it was this Virginia Beach or some Virginia Beach in Canada or something. It's really weird. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's this one.
Yeah, well, and there's some underlying, tussles he has with, hip-hop artists from here. But
gotcha.
It's whatever. But this is Virginia Beach. The line is pretty but rough, just like Virginia Beach. So maybe we should hope it's the one in Canada. This is the way I look at it. They're like, well, I don't know if it's a good or bad lyric. I'm like, all right, well, put your wife's name in there.
Yeah.
Pretty but rough. That can't be a great thing.
No.
I don't know what part of Virginia Beach Drake's been to, but there are parts that are just like he said. He's not inaccurate in saying that.
Yeah.
Pretty but rough. So I don't know if he's saying because there's a lot of crime, a lot of people dying. Buildings look like they're in the 70s. I don't really know. But what I do know is that I don't know if we made it by that lyric in a good way.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like it's kind of half and half, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like saying, bro, you're the best looking 6'7" person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You're like, what about the guys who are 6'5"?
Gotcha.
It's kind of like, well,
yeah, I don't know how to feel now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's my point. All right, you asked for it.
Oh,
got
gosh,
him.
You did it.
I set you up.
I'm not even anywhere close.
I
I'm
said
sitting here looking up Drake lyrics.
I know. That's why I reeled you in.
All right. Yeah, I know. This is your new thing now. You do.
Don't blame me. You asked for it.
All right. So all of you out there, all of the million followers and millions of listeners, imagine you're at the end of your life.
Okay. I'm there.
And you're granted the ability to repeat one day.
Oh, boy.
I know. Which period of your life would you choose to repeat?
Oh, gosh. Well, there's a lot I haven't lived yet, so...
Well,
hard
I
to
mean,
know.
you only get to pick to where you're at. You can't pick when you're...
Well, you said, imagine I'm at the end of my life.
Well, how do you know this is the end? You 35?
This is so depressing.
35?
I'm 36.
36.
Yeah.
So you're at the end, bro.
I'm
It's
at
been
the
good.
end. This
36
is
long
the
years.
end.
So which period of your life do you want to repeat?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. That's hard to choose, dude.
I know mine.
Oh, well, maybe it's easy for you.
Hands down.
Well, then why don't you say yours? I'm
9th
still
and 10th
thinking.
grade.
Oh, gosh. You're one of those
No,
people.
high school. High school, hands down.
You're one of the,
I don't. Yeah,
my
I'll
wife is the same person. I want to go back. Why do you want to go back to high school?
because I don't have to worry about kids.
Oh, gosh.
I don't have to worry about bills.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about responsibility.
Yeah.
I can just dance at homecoming and go play football. What's better than that?
Gotcha.
I get to shake it to Usher,
Listen.
and I get to break it down to some Nelly at prom and homecoming, and go home, and don't have to worry about the internet or cell phones, and play Madden. I mean, does it get better than that?
Yeah.
That was the best season of my life, and I realized it's never gonna get better than that.
Okay. I guess I've told my wife this, so
And
wife,
Sonic.
I apologize. So right before we got married, because I lived with my parents, I got into ministry really, really young. I was 21 when I went into full-time ministry. And so I was dating my wife at the time. And there was a period of time where we bought a house because we were getting ready to get married. And I got to live in that house for a little small span of time.
Without your wife.
Without my
Let's-
wife.
let's clarify what
Yes,
he's
without
saying
my
here.
wife. Yeah. Without my wife and out of my parents' house. And I tell her to this day, I was like, yeah, it was like the greatest month of my life.
See, you're being honest. I lived in an apartment after I graduated college, and I hated every minute of it.
Really?
Oh, I hated every minute of it.
See, I just had like a mattress on the floor, a big screen TV. I could leave the dishes in the
Yeah,
in
I
the
hated it,
sink
man.
at
I'd
night.
come home from work out, eat chicken and broccoli every night for dinner. I hated it. I just was bored.
Really?
You know, I needed people to play golf with, and it was
Yeah.
all right. It wasn't my thing. But let me ask you this: which phase of your life would you like to go back to? So a whole phase, like a time period, like a chunk of time. For me, 9th through 12th grade, all day. High school.
What was this? But okay, yeah.
High school.
See,
No
I didn't-
responsibilities, tons of video games, friends, no
Responsibility.
internet. It was a great
What's
time.
that?
I skied. Oh, in high school, though, I skied all the time. So I had a ski pass. So every day after school, once football was over, man, I was hitting the slopes all the way through the middle of the winter. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Does what you just say tell you anything about how you should be spending your time today?
What, that I wanted to be by myself?
Yes. Exactly. Big screen video games. What do you need to adjust to get back to that?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. That's every Tuesday night for me. I just came out of that.
See? So you have that.
Yeah.
See, I don't.
Oh, gotcha.
So
yeah, you
my
need
wife bought me Madden for my birthday this year, but I've
you
only
need a
played it
night,
twice.
dude. You need a night to look
Because
forward
my
to,
boys
man.
play it, but I just don't get. Yeah, you know, and I think what it's taught me is I'm in a season where I'm learning how to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've always been the person who protects my day off. Like Monday's
Yeah.
like my day off, so I've always been the person. I don't do work. I don't check emails. I don't do anything social. Like I'm just locked in. Me and
Yeah.
my wife go do stuff. You know, hang out with my kids. But I think what it showed me is it's not that it's not as much that I would like to go back, because everybody knows you don't want to go back to high school.
yeah.
It's not as much as I want to go back to there as I think I miss a margin that I had there.
Gotcha.
And there's a way as an adult to have the same relaxing margin, but it just takes a lot of discipline and a lot of no's.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. It's just kind of interesting thing about.
Yeah, for sure. And I think to reiterate what you're saying is because I also have Mondays off, but that is like, and I love Mondays, absolutely love them, look forward to them. In fact, we just had a Monday where the kids were off school, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Why is it always Mondays?"
That's what I said. I said, "Come on, man, you serious? Kids are off school."
Yeah.
Caden's like, "Sorry, Dad."
Yeah, but
Like, you know, I love you, buddy.
but that's mine and my wife's day.
Yeah.
So for me, now I play video games with my boy TJ, but Tuesday nights are like, well, that's my space. Tuesday night is my space. So it's not me and my wife or me and my kids or me and it's.
Dude, you know what I did on my
I'm gonna
Tuesday
do this
night?
for my space.
I wish I had it.
My space.
I was coaching, and Caden's team, and he wasn't even there. He was in marching band. He had a game last night, so he was in the marching band playing his snare at a football game. And I went to the field with no kids. Casey's like, enjoy practice. Had no kids, but all those boys, they're like my kids, man.
Exactly.
All my team.
Yeah.
Got home late, 8, and then we watched some of the Orioles game, and then what did we watch? I forget. I fell asleep. I think I did fall asleep.
Yeah.
We were watching the Beckham thing on Netflix.
I've heard documentary. About that. Yeah, I've heard
Dude,
about it.
I don't know what it is, man. There's been like 3 times in the last week where I sit down, and I don't know if I'm getting older or my body is just telling me you have nothing left. And it's not even a matter of being able to like try to stay awake.
Yeah.
I go unconscious to the point where Casey's like out of the room when I wake up. She's like walking out of the room. What are you doing? You can't wake me up?
Yeah.
Can we go to bed? I don't know if she's tried to like
just leave you on the couch.
I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't like it. So have you heard this thing about the Skittles ban that's happening in California?
I do know that Skittles are banned in a lot of other countries.
Apparently, they're putting poison in them that causes cancer.
They're really bad for you, yeah.
So, but it's sad because that's one of my favorite candies.
Oh, well,
I love Skittles.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stick with my Chewy Sprees, man. But so what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh, goodness. Halloween candy? I mean, I'm a big Milky Way fan. I like Milky Ways. I like Fifth Avenue bars. That's not really Halloween candy though. That's just candy.
My favorite candy, 100 grand.
Yeah, those are good. Those
it is. Bad. It's like a crunch and a caramel fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's delicious. So the reality is there's really not a ban. That's what people are saying. But in California, there's not a ban. So what it says is Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law misleadingly known as a Skittles ban. It's going to prohibit the manufacture, sale, or distribution of brominated vegetable oil, potassium bromate, propylparaben, and red dye 3. First of all, the fact it takes me that long to say those things, we shouldn't be consuming them, in my opinion.
They're
The 4 chemicals are used in as many as 12,000 food products across the country, despite never having been approved for consumption by the FDA.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how it gets this far.
Yeah.
How are we consuming things that nobody's given permission to, but the government hasn't stopped them from selling it? Like, help me understand. How is the FDA? How are things sold that have not been approved by the FDA, and billions of dollars are being made on products that nobody has given a thumbs up to? I don't understand how this works. And then we wonder why we don't just have hospitals, but we have cancer clinics, and we have this massive $1 trillion industry for health around cancer.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
You know what's funny? You can look it up. And it's not that like Skittles are necessarily banned a lot of different places, like especially Europe. They say they still have them in Europe. They're just made without titanium dioxide.
Which sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Why can't
Let's
we
make
just
Skittles
do that
without
here?
titanium.
If there's clearly a place in the world that is like, hey, we probably shouldn't be making Skittles with this stuff in it, why are we still making it in America?
What a disappointment. What a disappointment. Man. Well, any good news, Kat Von D, LA Inc., you remember her?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I heard about
this.
this.
So she just renounced her cult.
Yeah.
Of witchcraft.
Yeah.
And she got baptized and gave her heart to the Lord.
Yep. My wife
became
told
a Christian.
me.
How amazing is that?
That's awesome.
Dude, I saw the baptism video. It was so amazing. You know what's really cool about it is that just like everybody else, we're all searching for something. Mm-hmm. And she thought she found it. But when she found Jesus, it changed everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing I wish people would know. You know, people ask me, why you do this? I'm like, because I can't do anything else. Like, because I knew. When did you know you were going to be in ministry? When did you know you were going to be a pastor?
I had a moment. Now, again, I didn't necessarily know I was going to be a pastor, but I had a moment when I was 17 and I was chasing a lot of musical things, bands, that kind of stuff. But I remember a Saturday night in my room, even the kind of like a bad relationship, only dated one other person besides my wife. And I just had a moment where I felt like God just really just smacked me on my head. I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, he's like, I've given you all these talents and these things for a purpose. And so 17 as a kid, that was a moment where I'm like, all right, I'm full into worship. Like I'm fully here, whatever you want. And that kind of set the pace for the rest of my life, really.
Well, have you heard about so Justin Herbert for the Chargers? I think he was in 4th or 5th grade. He drew a picture of himself wearing a Chargers uniform.
That's
so. This is what I'm gonna do when I get older.
I think you've told me that.
Yeah, and there's I can speak specifically like for pro athletes that like they'll be doing the Monday Night Football broadcast and they show like this is what they did when they were this age and they have pictures from when they were kids or whatever. So I've heard of pro athletes actually knowing what they were going to do with their life and the team. Because I feel like, your destiny is in you. And some people might be like, man, I was destined to work at the store as a clerk. Maybe not.
Yeah.
That's maybe those are some of your choices. I think a lot of people are stuck in places that they're not called to, but they're not willing to have the faith to do anything else either.
Yeah.
They don't have if you don't have the faith to do it, you can't blame God for it not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember as a kid, I told my wife this story today. From the youngest age I can remember, I grew up in a big church in DC. There was thousands of people. My dad was an associate pastor there. And I was always the kid with like the main role in the plays. We went to a private school at that church and I had the main role in those plays. The church itself, I had the main role in their kids programs. And we would have thousands of people show up to these things. And I remember one year, I just didn't want to do it. I for the school program at Christmas, I was like, I just want to be a kid in the choir, And so they were like, yeah, that's fine. And I remember being in the choir, and we had a program where all the kids were like hiding under the pews. And so when the program started, we all came out like children of the corn. It was actually pretty cool in hindsight. Everybody's like clapping. But I was just a kid in the choir, and I never regretted not being that main thing. But I remember even as a young age, people constantly put me on the stage, put me in front of people.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling of this is where you're going to spend your life, in front of people, like on the stage. I didn't know it'd be preaching the gospel, but I felt like that was my place.
Yeah.
And there was seasons of my life where I wanted to be music, I wanted to be other things, but I know what God's called me to. And so I can say I always knew I was going to be in front of people on a stage. That's where I knew God placed me. And my wife, there's for me, I can say I don't ever get nervous on a stage, regardless of how many people are out there. Like there's never nerves.
Yeah.
It's more, I want to honor God I want to make sure that my preparation, I get more consumed with preparation than I do delivery.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I'm not worried about that part of it. I just want to make sure I'm prepared and that I'm communicating with the Lord to put in what He's wanting people to hear,
Yeah.
And I know I do, because I know like I hear Him, and God's not that hard to hear when you listen. He's very clear. He just speaks to you, So all that to say, I do think that there is this innate thing that God puts in all of us that we know where our heart is and what we're stirred to do. Doesn't mean we're doing it.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a connection. I do know that God has put destiny in us. And if He knows the number of hair on your heads and He has designed you for something specific, then why do we think that He wouldn't be this detailed in grooming these things?
Oh, yeah.
Because He does.
Yeah.
And some people may be sitting here listening to this right now thinking, well, crap, man, like this isn't what I want to be doing with my life. And I would say, well, then do what you feel called to do.
Yeah.
I know people who get stuck in ruts because they're making good money and like, well, this is how I provide for my family. I'm like, well, if God's providing for your family, don't worry about how you provide. Like, what is it He's called you to do? Because I can tell you this, there's nothing in this world. I would love to be in the front office of a pro sports team. I would love to play pro sports, but in the reality, there's nothing I'd rather do than what I do.
Yeah.
Sure. Do I wish I had more influence? I wish I had more influence. Do I wish I had a more fun travel schedule, like to go preach in Fiji? Sure.
Yeah.
But I think that it's taken me a long time to get to the place where I don't think content to me sounds apathetic. So I hate that word, but I know what it means. It's different. Apathetic is you're numb. Content is saying you're satisfied.
Yes.
And I'm satisfied with where God has my life. But I think because of the way I'm driven and the vision He's put in me and the way I'm a visionary, I always want more. And I think that's probably the tension with the rest in my life that we were just talking about a couple minutes ago.
I find it funny that even when you say that, where you were like, there is in our culture, there's a negative connotation to the word content.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, you need more. Like, why are you content? You need more.
Like you're settling.
And as if contentment, is some bad, terrible thing. I also think it's really, really cool that, in your story and my story, in some ways, we're kind of doing what we were called to do before we recognized that we were created and crafted this way to do these things for God.
Exactly.
And I think everyone has that, like with God, following Him, I think everyone has that experience.
Yeah.
Everyone has this realization moment of like, holy cow, that's why you made me this way? Like, that's why I am crafted with these gifts and these talents and these skills, that when I place them before you and I use them for you back to your kingdom, there's a completion of our purpose, of our calling, And that's a cool moment. And so, yeah, I hear those stories of you and your past, or you're on the stage and those kinds of things. And now it's a beautiful thing where you're like, yeah, like I was prepared for this.
Yeah.
The stage doesn't scare me. The stage, like, no, I'm comfortable there. It's my preparation.
Yeah.
Because God gave me the experiences and the opportunity to be comfortable there. Now it's preparing for the stage where the heaviness lands. Yeah, and I'm right there with you. The stage has never, music and those kind of things, I've always wanted to be doing those things. The stage has never scared me. It's what am I doing to prepare behind the scenes? And it's cool. I don't know. You have these moments where you're like, it makes sense, God. And I look back and that totally makes sense.
Yeah, I get it now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is great though, man. I'm grateful for all the time I've had in the local church. The local church has been the thing that has bred so much into me and given me opportunity to become what I am. Like without the local church, I could never have done it, because I don't know what kind of places can give you the opportunities the local church has given me to do what I do. And I've thought about it a lot. I could go into real estate, or I could go into a brokerage firm, or I could go into a big Fortune 500, and you could do presentations, you could present, you could be a communicator, you could be a professional communicator in leadership. And I guess in a way we're all of those things as pastors.
Yeah.
But I love pastoring, and I can't imagine doing anything else. I love it. I love people. I love being in the grind. I love being in the dirt. I love, like, we're getting ready to launch campuses in other states. God's doing amazing things. Like, we don't own property in Virginia Beach as a church. We're getting ready to own multiple properties in other states. And it's like only God can do that. It's just been a really cool ride. A really cool experience. So I'm really excited about all that. I don't think we can talk. We have to talk about Israel before we get off of here. I know that Israel's, the Hamas, this radical Palestinian group that, it was a pretty intense bombing. They went and they wrecked Israel communication towers, and these guys paraglided into the places they were bombing. It's pretty crazy how they got in. Yeah. And then Israel's been attacking them and seizing this Palestinian state. So when I was in Israel, so the Gaza Strip in Israel, for those who aren't as familiar, it's a strip right on the edge of Egypt and Israel, and it's right on the water. And there's always fighting. So there's always missiles going into Israel from this area, but Israel has a very high anti-missile intelligence that basically dissolves or dissipates these missiles in the air. So Israel has a very, very, Israel's special forces and their air force is best in the world. I think it's probably a good way to put it. I know that it's amazing, right? It's this next level. Well, Israel, this was one of those things where it was kind of a very hard ground attack. And when I was over there years ago in Israel, when we went to Bethlehem, our tour guide that was a Jew had to get off the bus, and then a Palestinian tour guide got on the bus to take us into Bethlehem because Jews aren't allowed in there. Yeah, because Palestinian-controlled territory, where Jesus was born. Yeah, Jews can't even get into.
It's crazy.
And when we were there, there's Palestinian soldiers everywhere with guns. As much as you think a machine gun with a human being holding it is always unnerving, even if they're security or military. It's just think about the amount of power in that person's hands. Yeah. So we got back on the bus, left Bethlehem, went back to Jerusalem. The Palestinian tour guide got off at the border, and there's big signs warning when you get into Palestinian territory about stay out type thing. So this is the tension. It's hard to understand this as Americans because our borders with Mexico and Canada, there's no tension like that. Yeah. The tension is like having a neighbor that is destroying your home and trying to constantly meddle in your stuff and manipulating the neighborhood and wanting to destroy you and trying to lie and always doing things that cost you money and taking family members from you. This is the tension that's over there. So it's really disheartening, but it's people, you don't mess with Israel, man. You don't mess with Israel. Like, is it funny to you that a place that's smaller than New Jersey, whenever it's at war or has any conflict, the whole world stops?
Yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah.
All you atheists out there, all you haters, all you people who don't want to believe in God, explain it. Yeah. You can explain it as much as you want, but the reality is the word of God is true. Yep. There's never been a part of it that's been proven untrue. Yeah. Jesus is the healer. He's powerful. God is still on the throne. And there is a reason that Israel is the focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
Final thought.
Got me.
Here's my final thought.
Don't believe everything you hear, Corey.
I mean, yeah, that's good.
Don't believe everything you hear. A pastor locked himself in a cage with 3 lions
Oh, goodness.
to reenact Daniel in the lion's den.
Oh, my God. Stop. Stop.
And to show that nothing can happen to a man of God.
Stop.
It turns out, and this man he's wearing a suit, his bright blue suit with a tie, and he's petting the lions in this zoo. 3 lions.
Yeah.
And first of all, my first thought is, okay, yeah, you're crazy, but it's sunny out. You're in an open cage. You might be able to run a little bit. A lion's den, if I'm not mistaken, is a dark spot with no sunlight. You get put into this hole, and the den is covered with a stone or some type of thing to seal it to where you can't even see.
Oh, gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't even see. Well, it turns out the man is actually a zookeeper. And he's been a zookeeper for 8 years, and he wasn't a pastor. And so he was just trying to.
Okay.
Well, the funny part is a member of the Kenyan parliament. This happened in Africa. A member of the Kenyan parliament offered for an all expenses paid trip for the pastor, quote unquote, zookeeper, to come to the National Reserve to reenact a stunt with wild lions.
Oh, gosh. This is, yeah.
I was like,
I've had enough.
He's like, bro, if you think you're that legit, come up to this National Reserve. I'll pay for it. And you come up and reenact this with wild lions. Can you imagine if in America, one of our congressmen offered for all expenses paid trip for somebody to go walk out with wild lions? And then if that person gets mauled to death, what that congressman would be up against?
Ugh.
Sometimes we just need to go hardcore and just cut all the political crizzap and just say,
Yeah.
you know what? Prove it. You know, like, I don't want anybody to die from lions. But when you start getting, it's just like,
Yeah.
sometimes I love how other countries deal with stuff. It's like, you know what? Put your money where your mouth is. Let's stop making this banter and make you famous. Let's put you out here and see if you are what you say you are. I mean, I kind of like that approach. I got to admit, I kind of like it. It's like, you know what? Do you say that's who you are? Well, let's see.
Yeah.
You know, enough talk. There's so much trash talk in America. We talk more noise than anybody. We talk noise in every area of our lives. We talk noise in the streets. We talk noise in sports. We talk noise. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think the Kenyan Parliament got it right. Hey, we'll come reenact this with wild ones. We'll see what you got, bro.
Yeah. I
I don't want him to reenact it.
Yeah.
Just for the record. I don't want him to.
I wanted to Google search this. I found what you're talking about, but I also found an article from 2016 that says Christian prophet has his buttocks mauled by a lion after running towards a pride to prove the Lord's power over animals during South Africa safari.
I forget what show it was. This is why God says wisdom people. This is so there's a story in Acts where the apostle Paul is shipwrecked and he's on the island of Malta.
Yeah.
And he's building a fire and a viper attaches himself to his arm.
Yeah.
And he shakes it off and it goes into the fire.
Yeah.
When that happened, it showed all the people on that island, they were like, this guy must be a god.
Yeah.
And he was trying to point them to Jesus.
But they were kind of watching in secret, right?
Yes.
That's what you kind of get from the
and
reading.
the island is converted. People are coming to know Jesus, all this stuff. Well, that is where you get people that are modern day snake handlers.
Yes. Yeah.
So people that hold poisonous snakes, and the Church of God's reputation, all these people are snake handlers, Pentecostals. No, those people are demonic.
Yeah.
They're straight demonic. If you've ever watched anything, those people, the way they're in like a trance, they're dancing with fire, and they grab snakes out. They may be saying they're worshiping God. It is a demonic practice by demonic people. There used to be a show, I don't know if it was on TLC, but it was following these guys who, I don't remember what network it was on, but it's followed these guys. Well, the one pastor who, I don't call him a pastor, he's not. People, just because they self-proclaim pastors doesn't mean they're anointed or called by God. And this guy was a quote-unquote pastor, and they were copperhead hunting, and he went and he got his copperheads. Well, years later, I read this article where it says, famous snake handling pastor, which he's not a pastor. This dude's demonic. He's a cult leader. He got bit by a copperhead during his service, or a rattlesnake, and he refused medical treatment. And so a couple days later, he died in his house. Why? Because it's stupid. There's no wisdom. God's never asked us to touch a poison. Now, if you're walking in the things of God, and you're building a fire once you've been shipwrecked and a viper attached itself to you and you shake it off in the fire out of response because you're human, like, get off me, and it doesn't bite you and it dies in the fire and then people come to Jesus because of it. Yeah. God was in it.
Absolutely. But you weren't like, hey guys, watch this. Yeah. Paul wasn't doing that.
He's coming in. Coming in.
Wait. I have something. This is in no relation to. Sorry, I'm going to derail this a little bit, but it is kind of the same. So, I heard this story of a woman. I can't remember where she was. She was out gardening in her yard, and so I would imagine she's kind of bent over, and from the sky,
oh, I heard about this.
A snake falls on her arm and starts attacking her arm.
Unbelievable.
Moments later, a hawk flies down from the sky and starts attacking the snake. So she is getting attacked by a snake and a hawk simultaneously that just fell out of the sky.
So what you're telling me is Satan attacked her and God sent a hawk to deliver.
Well, the hawk was attacking her too.
I was just kidding.
The pictures of this poor lady.
Well, the hawk had the snake in its mouth, probably.
Yes, and dropped the snake. And the snake landed on her arm, coiled up.
Was it a poisonous snake?
I don't think so. No.
Dude, what would you do?
Bro, you know me. I'm ripping things in half. That's what's happening. We're going Old Testament. I'm ready. I'm ready for that to happen to me.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of hope it does.
Can you imagine?
That's what I'm saying. You're gardening. One of the most peaceful things you can probably
I thought she was mowing her grass.
No, I think she was gardening.
It doesn't matter. The reality is the woman was innocent. She was an innocent human being.
And a hawk at the same time.
And a snake out of the sky?
Yeah.
That's like a bird crawling out of a hole.
Yeah, that's somebody's worst nightmare.
Imagine you walk in and you see a bird crawl out of a hole. Is that not scary? Like, this is weird. It doesn't belong there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Man, well, I hope everybody had a great podcast.
Yeah.
I hope you've really been encouraged by today.
Yeah.
Hey, the final thought is this. When you're mowing, make sure you're wearing long sleeves. You never know.
You're telling me.
You never know.
Chainmail or something.
Yeah. You never know. Lord, we thank you so much for each and every listener. I pray over their homes. I pray over their life. I pray they will know you love them. You see them. Your hand is on them. You'll never leave them. You will never, ever forsake them. And everybody said, amen. Hey, we love you. We will see you, as always, this weekend on Fire, Palms Church, 9:30, online and in person. Can't wait to be with you. We'll see y'all soon. Love y'all.